Hey friend, are you running around, downloading all the bundles, consuming all the trainings, scrolling all the platforms, buying all the programs, investing in all the coaching, all in an attempt to build your list, sign more clients, and create more tangible results in your business? Stop. As in STOP, stop. I get it. I've been there too, chasing all the shiny objects in my inbox and my news feeds, thinking it was the secret sauce to finally scaling my business. But girl, I was only left stressed out, worn out, burned out, with lots of time wasted, and those elusive results I was chasing nowhere in sight. But something happened this week that really opened my eyes to what business owners think you need to scale this thing that God put on your heart and what you really need. So, in this bonus episode, I'm going to break down the three things you actually need to get more leads, sign more clients, and create those consistent wins that show this business is not just working, it's making a bigger impact. And let me tell you, this is the secret sauce to scaling your business, the one that you've been looking for all along. So if you're here for that, let's dive in. Just curious, how many shiny objects come across your path in a day? 5, 10, 20, or more? Seriously, a girl could spend all day and all night and still not get through all the things that promise the world to us business owners. And it all looks and sounds like the secret sauce that you really need to finally take your business to the next level, right? I remember those days when I too was chasing all the things in my inboxes and news feeds, praying for the answer to what I thought I needed. Can you relate? I call them these things. Jesus talked about not being anxious like the world. You know, those living without God, the ones who are out there chasing after these things he talked about in Matthew 6:32. For his audience, it was, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? And what shall we wear? But for my audience of business owners, it's, how do I grow my reach? AKA, how do I get more visibility and leads? Or how do I grow my revenue? In other words, how do I get more sales and cash flow? Or how do I get results? In other words, those consistent wins to prove this thing is working. Can you relate to wanting one of these things? I love how the New Living Translation says it. It says these things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers. Do you ever feel like these things in your business don't just dominate your thoughts, they also dominate your time? And then you wonder why, no matter how much you chase after them, you still feel behind? Girl, that is why just a few verses later in Matthew 6:33, Jesus said that those of us who know him, we don't chase after these things. What do we do instead? We look to our Father because he already knows what we need and he is our provider. But do we? Or do we as believers still run around like a chicken with our head cut off, searching, striving, and seeking for what we think we need when he's already given it to us? Now, let me tell you what happened this week that opened my eyes to what business owners think you need to scale your business. You see, this week was our CEO time warp. And yes, I got lots of registrations, many of them coming in directly from my email list. But I also was a part of a bundle this week called the Ultimate List Building Bundle. And so what happened was the other day, I received an email that showed that I was at the top of the leaderboard for registrations for that bundle. In fact, it was double the number of registrations that I got for my own workshop. If I'm honest, at first, those numbers kind of bothered me because either my list didn't think that what I had to offer was valuable, or they already had it, or they thought this other thing was what they really needed. But then, instead of getting discouraged, I put on my CEO hat and I got curious. Why did more people sign up for how to build their list over how to multiply their time? Because it was one of those these things kind of things. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't any value, because yes, I know there was a ton of value in that bundle, including my submission, because I've seen it myself. But here's what I know. For most people, that email will never get uncovered in your promotions folder, or if you're lucky, in your inbox. And for those who do happen to open the email, most won't read it and download the free whatever it has to offer. And for those who do happen to download it, most won't actually print it out or take the time to work through it. And for those who do happen to work through it, most won't actually implement it into their business consistently over enough time to actually produce the results they promised. And those who do get to that stage, girl, You are in the 1%. Hence, why most businesses are not scaling, because we're out there chasing these things first. Now, sure, we could chalk it up to laziness or distraction or just plain forgetfulness. But here's where so many business owners, aka busyness owners, make the mistake of jumping into the shiny stuff before you lay the foundation stuff and then wonder why it doesn't work for them or for you, right? Have you been there? That amazing resource that you may or may not have paid for to build your list. Anyone got a product or program graveyard? Girl, it's not going to do you any good if and until it ties into helping you move forward with your current growth strategy, if and until you build a system for you or your team to execute it, to not just get leads, but follow up with them and turn them into conversations and conversions and not drop the ball. And if and until you have consistent focused time in your schedule to actually work on it. Girl, you have to build the foundation first, or your results, no matter how amazing whatever it is promises, won't stick, won't sustain, and won't scale. And then you'll be back out there like the rest of the world looking for the next shiny object to grow your business. Girl, talk about wasted time and money. So, do you want to build your list or sign more clients or create more results in your business? Let me show you what you really need and then how to get it up and running in less than 3 weeks. Here are the three things that every Christian woman business owner needs to 10x her productivity and double her results. Are you ready? Number one, time scaling schedules. But business owners tell me all the time, Lissa, I have a schedule. And I say, great. But here's the thing, time blocks are not a schedule that scales your time. Because if you have time blocks on a digital or paper planner, but you still feel behind, or like time got away, or like you got pulled off tasks so easily, or played kick the can down the road all day, and you don't know how you'll get it all done, or it never really sticks because, well, life happens, then girl, you don't really have a schedule that will help you scale your time and your business. You see, a time scaling schedule contains intentional time zones such that you always know what it's time for, with plenty of space for what matters to give it the time and attention it needs to flourish and grow. And girl, you will never again get to the end of a day and wonder what you even did or rush to fit it all in. How fantastic would it feel to have a schedule that doesn't just manage your time, but actually multiplies it? Number two, you need time scaling systems. Again, business owners tell me all the time, Lissa, I have systems. And I say, good. But here's the thing, to-do lists or even workflows are not systems that scale your time. Because if you have those to-do lists or workflows, but you still jump from one thing to the next, or spend time looking for things when you sit down to work, or you're dropping the ball on things like follow-ups, or you have a team that's constantly needing you such that you become the bottleneck, then girl, you don't really have systems that will help you scale your time or your business. You see, time scaling systems not only organize, they also prioritize all of your essential tasks so that when you sit down to that time to work, you know exactly what needs to be done. Not because your to-do list or inbox told you, but because it's what actually will move the needle in your business. And instead of getting distracted by all the things on your screen or your inbox, you open one tab such that everything you need to do to execute is just one click away. And these systems are built with growth in mind, which includes delegating to a team in such a way that they don't need handholding or confirmation on every little thing. Let me ask, how helpful would it be to have systems that don't just organize your to-dos, but actually free up your time to do the CEO tasks that only you can do? And number three, you need time scaling strategies. Again, business owners tell me all the time, Lissa, I have strategies to grow. And I'm like, fantastic. But here's the thing, goal setting is not a strategy that scales your time. Because if you set goals, but you don't hit them, or you start those important projects, but keep pushing them off because you don't have time and you're not any closer to where you wanted to be this time of year, and you don't really have strategies that are going to help scale your business. Because time scaling strategies take your bigger CEO vision and break it down into smaller chunks in such a way that you can't not hit your goals or finish projects that propel you forward on or before your target date. Why? How? Because it's so clearly mapped out that it's easy to do. And these growth strategies help you create those measurable results that keep you on track to hitting your bigger goals in less time. because you're not trying to do too many things or giving them too much time. Instead, you're focused on the one thing. How amazing would it be to have strategies that actually propel your business forward and produce results? Girl, this is the power of time scaling. When you have all three things in place, then you can go grab those shiny resources, those courses, those programs, and actually see lasting results. Why? Because you will have the time, schedules, systems, and strategy to implement them to the fullest. So, before you make your next investment of time or money in your business, including an amazing free list building bundle like the one I was in this past week, and before that thing gets forgotten somewhere along the way, before it transforms your business, let me show you how to build your time scaling foundation first. I even have clients who are in the middle of a program who came to me and said, Lissa, I need you because time is running out and I don't want to not get out of this everything I paid for. Talk about wise stewardship. So, if you've already invested, but time is ticking or the growth isn't happening, let me show you how to build this time scaling foundation. So that way you can make every investment work. Because then no longer are you the busyness owner chasing these things in your business. You're going to become the CEO who has a growing engaged list, sending one email and hearing the ping of sales notifications while she's making dinner instead of begging on social media. You're going to be the CEO who has consistent client signups, who knows exactly when the next client is coming in and doesn't feel like it's feast or famine. You're going to be the CEO who has reliable, predictable income, who's not staring at her bank app, wondering if that client payment cleared before the mortgage auto draft hits. You're going to be that client or that CEO who has systems that work. So you can onboard a new client in minutes, not hours, without hunting down that random Google Doc you swore you'd organize someday. Or better yet, hand off the client onboarding or scheduling and actually have energy left for that women's ministry event you're leading this weekend. You will become that CEO who has stress-free launches and projects. You're the one who's sipping coffee on launch day, not chugging it at 2 a.m. while duct taping last-minute things together. And you're going to be that CEO with freedom to scale without burnout. So that way you can take that after dinner walk with your husband, book a weekend getaway, or even take a mid-afternoon nap without your business falling apart. So, girl, if that is the kind of abundant CEO that you're ready to be, stop chasing the shiny objects and let's get your time scaling schedules, systems, and strategies up and running for both you and your team or your future team. I want to share with you an opportunity that I've just opened up to join me for a time scaling intensive. In the first 3 weeks or less, we're going to get your time scaling schedules, systems, and strategies up and running by creating your ideal week plan, your CEO dashboard, and your 12-week growth map. No more saying, I need to get back to all that stuff Lissa was talking about this week, because girl, we're doing it together. Who's working too many hours? Let's cut that time back. Who's praying for more revenue? Let's make a plan. Who's ready to not always be thinking about business? Girl, we're going to create some space in your life. And in the next 3 weeks, you will be part of a team building intensive. We're going to walk through how to bring on a team. And yes, this is for you, even if you're still a team of one, or you're not sure when you'll be bringing on someone else, because an abundant CEO is always thinking ahead. We will look at why to hire, when to hire, how to hire, and what to hand off when you do. And then when you're ready, you'll have all the steps to build your team, onboard your team, and lead your team. And it's going to happen sooner than you think and for less than you'd think. So that way, it truly multiplies your time and drives revenue. Who would like to feel like you just made your first hire because you streamlined your time? And who would like to not be the only person doing all the work in the next 12 months or the next 6 months or even by the end of the year? And even better, when you join me for this intensive, you get me as your coach for an entire 12 months. Yes, 12 months of us together with weekly live coaching calls, a private community, and a self-paced curriculum to help you keep building, refining, and growing your schedules, systems, and strategies as you scale, all from a stewardship perspective. Now, here's the thing. Spots are limited and only open to those who are serious about scaling the business that God put on your heart. Because, girl, we are not here to be good with time. We are here to make an impact with our time. So, if that's you, run, don't walk to redeemhertime.com/apply or click that link in the show notes. And let's see if you qualify. And if you do it soon, then you will get that time scaling team bonus for free. Now, I want to end this bonus with a prayer that just happened to pop up in my Bible app today, the last day of our CEO time warp. It says this: God, I want my life to be lived for your glory. In moments where it's difficult for me to surrender my plans to you, please help me focus on your vision for the future. I want all of my work and anything I do to point others to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, friend, I'll see you over inside the Redeem Her Time community. We'll talk more about this. Thanks for joining me for this episode. Till next time, remember, instead of chasing time on the clock, trying to control it, receive the gift of time from the one who truly holds it. Because as his daughter, you have time.